Diving on deep to a great conversation, Vicki, with Dick Taylor and Wendy Smith from the Port of Shelton. Morning, gang.
Good morning. How are you?
I am well. How are y'all doing?
Good.
Great.
Good.
Sounds like there's a lot of stuff going on. First things first, we had some big old windstorms come in over this past weekend. Power out for a lot of the area.
Yes.
How does the port do on these kind of situations?
It was tough. Actually, we did have some damage, pretty significant down at the marina. The North Dock, one of the pilings broke off at the very end of the North Dock,
Oh, wow.
which is very scary,
Yeah.
to say the least. And so,
Wow.
of course, immediately upon knowledge of it, and even after, and our guys are so great. I mean, just they take their weekend time, they see it storming, and they go down. But they were down before it happened, and then so Monday morning, first thing they went down, and it affects an end boathouse. But the way that boathouse sits, it's one of the larger boathouses. So without, it's still got two pilings there, but without that end one on the end of it, it's pretty. So we're trying to figure out. It didn't break down low.
Yeah.
It broke water line type of thing. So it's worse than than breaking low. So we're going through right now and trying to reach out to the Corps and find out what's their emergency process. But to mobilize and get pilings driven is upwards of $10,000.
I
I mean, it's enormous cost. And so we realize that if need be and we have to do that, we need to replace more than just that one.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah,
we're trying
yeah.
to figure out if there
Oh,
are
if
three
it's
that
worthwhile to do it all at one time.
yeah, and and we're not ready to do like the South Dock.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just a tough deal. So as you know, late last year, our maintenance crew rebuilt those docks, and they, attached them, and they were just, I mean, some of the pieces of steel are just incredibly strong, and they bent like they were paper.
Wow.
So, I mean, it was massive, and it just hit just right, So, yeah, it's pretty dramatic. We had some trees down, at the airport property that, I mean, those aren't
Minimal
main
stuff,
roads. Yeah. Didn't hit buildings
Oh,
or any
good,
of that, but
good.
just, clean up.
Lots
know.
of different things to think about with the variety of properties you
Yeah.
have with the rail
Yeah.
and then the marina and the airport.
Sure.
What are some other work that's been going on?
Well, we talked about we're, CERB funded out at part of the old mill site, and actually the entire old mill site in two different fashions. But so that septic system is being installed as we speak, and I think it's close to done. So that's good. But in and among that, we've done some change orders, needing to hook into electrical, hook those office trailers we purchased in the auction. So doing some plumbing, and so there's a few more things that this contractor's going to do besides just putting those septic. So that's exciting. It's getting it on the on the way to leasing that space out. So
And you're meeting with CERB this
tomorrow.
week? Tomorrow, yeah.
Tomorrow I have another meeting with CERB on another potential partner project.
Oh, wow.
So that's exciting, and if that comes to be, I'll definitely let you know. We're just trying to figure out. They just got their funding because of a capital budget. They were shut down, and so I reached out to them and said, I've got another tenant looking to expand, and they're interested. And they said, we need to meet ASAP because it's first come, first serve. So
Oh, wow.
okay, we'll do it this week.
I'm
so that's
right
exciting. Yeah. And again, that's great. I mean, we've done the two projects that we've talked over and over about. And we've done all the pretty, I mean, the one site still has the building to be, walled, and that. The Lynch Creek site is virtually, we've done almost all of them, spent all the money. There's a little bit, I think, remainder that we still have to put out there, but yet we still don't have a bill. That's how that works. It's kind of a delayed process. So, once you bill out the tenant, it gets, it's couple years after the fact. So it's fantastic. I mean, it's a great program.
With this new CERB situation, is it a full resubmittal of a project, or is it your first time submitting this? When you say you have somebody and it's a first come first serve thing, you haven't been filling out an application already.
No.
This is a brand new
Yeah,
one.
Brand
new. Yeah, so it's not related to the ones we already
Yeah, and
were
it first
funded
come,
on.
first serve means in the whole state project.
Yeah,
So
for
it's
their
we're in line, get in line with all our other entities that are applying for CERB funding.
Are there some benefits to already having two projects go through this?
Well, I
mean,
think
they
the
know your
benefit
mailing
is,
address and things
yeah,
like that. They know who you are.
they know us. We've talked to them. We, the commission, have shown up at 2 of the hearings with the CERB board,
you
which
said that.
doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And so we have shown interest in support for these programs, and the CERB is a great program.
Yeah.
Community Economic Revitalization Board. I
Yep.
can never
Yep.
is what it
got it.
is.
It's
So
a big
it's
deal.
yeah, it's a big
It is,
deal.
and I think it does. You know, they know us. They, you know, we're rural, so we already get points for that. I think part of, you know, my worry would be, well, you know, they funded 2 of our projects. You know, what if, you know, they want to fund, you know, there's a whole bunch of others out there that have never been funded. You know, so that's the only thing is, you know, you don't want to assume you're just going to get everything you
Right.
put in for. But yeah, I think you know, and the fact that they are busy staff people, and they, you know, I mean, I emailed on Monday and they said we can meet Wednesday afternoon or Thursday morning. I said great. So
awesome.
Yeah.
so I think, you know, I think they see it as
Well,
a
you
good-
know, and then our staff does a lot of good work. I mean, they do their homework. They get their ducks in line, and when we submit something, it's ready to go. And I've seen in other cases where that is not the case,
yeah, true.
where
That's
other
true.
other entities have not done their homework, and then they don't get their grants
Yeah.
Yeah,
or their loans.
it's true.
So, but our staff does a wonderful job of handling those kind of things.
We were
The
mentioning
huge staff that we
the
have.
big,
Yeah.
the large. You were mentioning that one of the great members of the staff, Brandon, was working on some stuff at the airport.
Yeah, we're getting ready to, he's finalizing another RFQ, and it's for our airport engineering. We've talked endlessly about next year. We're doing a big $3+ million overlay of the runway, and so this will be the year we start to engineer that. We had done this process a few years back and tried to establish a 5-year relationship to where we wouldn't have to do this process right now. Unfortunately, the firm we chose, great firm, Reed Middleton, and the people that worked there are really who you choose, and all of them have left, and they don't really have an aviation division anymore.
no.
And so, yeah, so I don't know that it's anything to do specifically with that firm, or if they just kind of are moving in different directions. But since they all moved on, we either
looking
have to
again.
go back to the drawing board and
to the
pick our
drawing
second
board.
choice, or we
What
just
to
go
do
out
now?
and do a new. So yes, so Brandon's diligently working on that and hopes to get that out, and then we'll interview, you know, a couple of the firms. We got about 5 responses last time, and so there's definitely
Competition,
players
yeah.
in the market.
Cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so.
Cool.
So that's exciting. And then speaking of our small staff and our great staff, we do have a position open. So for anybody interested, it's all on our website, portofshelton.com, but finance manager. So we're finally bringing that back in-house, kind of replacing a lot of what I do and have done, and we've had some outside help on that over the years, and so we're kind of on a fast track to get that filled, just with, you know, changes in staffing and people getting ready to be done with their contract time. So yeah, so that's
All right.
exciting.
Check it
So
out.
if
We'll put
anybody's
the-
Lots
interested,
going on.
yeah.
Yep.
Link to the port's website here on the show notes on this one here for today. Well, very cool. Always good news from you guys. Thanks for coming in.
Our pleasure.
Nice to see you here. We surface on out.